champagne or rum, achieve success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Hello everyone. We're back again. Exciting Wednesday is why I call this Wednesday, because my signature room is on next. But Dr. Yvonne, how are you doing? Levine, great to have you in the studio.
Grand rising.
I'm glad you're both here. It saves me talking, right? I don't get to talk. I keep quiet and just listen and learn from all of you. Of course, if you're here, my friends, drop us a comment, say hello, say hi, say where you're joining us from, and maybe share a comment on our topic if you have a thought at this stage. I'm sure by the time we finish, you're going to have many thoughts, right? But anyway, so let me pass the mic. So Amanda, I see you. Welcome. What's the link, Amanda? I can't do two things at once. I dare say I'm a man, right? I can host an event, but I can't look at a link at the same time.
Healthy boundaries, empowering yourself.
Yeah, we can have a look at it later. So building a healthy boundaries, empowering yourself and others. Okay, I get a rough idea. Well, thank you for joining us. So great to have you here. So now let me stop talking. Dr. Yvonne, talk to us. How are you doing?
Well, grand rising, everyone. For those of you who don't say grand rising, good morning. I am recovering. If you're in the United States, right, and you want to travel to a red state, be advised, because I am telling you, I went to bury or say goodbye to the transitional relative, my uncle. And between, honestly, drama and the crap that's going on in the United States, especially in the red states, I can't even function at this point. But I'm here. Don't go to Florida. Okay, that's it. But anyway, if you're a woman and you're traveling to Florida or any other red states, make sure you have your your passport along with your stupid little card that they're now trying to track us with, because these people are getting crazy and serious, and it's what they want to do for voter suppression with the women. Anyway, I've been trying to recover from that emotionally, because I'm telling you, these people are crazy. Away from that, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Dr. Yvonne Smith Canigan. I am a Caribbean-born woman. I'm from Jamaica. I've been in this country since I was 1.5 years old, and now I'm 102. And I can tell you that my expertise comes in opening businesses. I have a vast legal background. Let's see, I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, entrepreneur, and I deal with spirituality over religion. I believe in healing your body with everything that has been presented to us through the Maker. I also believe that you can't just do it one way. You have to sometimes work with Western medicine. I am a luxury life coach. And basically, what that means is, for most women or people, but mostly women who have had a stint of being a mother, a wife, even a businesswoman, we get to a point in our lives where we have to rediscover ourselves, especially after becoming empty nesters. So I help you make that transition. My give back in my community has a lot to do with women and children in abusive situations, and women, again, finding themselves and pursuing their dreams or their goals after tending to everybody else. So they turn the attention now on them. So this episode that or this event that we've been doing, that Annie and I have been doing, is on the heels of a book that Annie has um, convinced me that I need to write. And if anyone knows me, I do things in spaces of three. So Annie was the third person to come to me and say, "You need to write this book." Hence, these events were formed, and I am grateful to him for these events because it seems that so many of us can relate to the topics that this event in particular, this room in particular, is trying to focus on. So today we're trying to not focus so much on the negative side of surviving and then you know, overcoming narcissism or narcissistic relationships, not only just in marriage. I'm talking about with family members, I'm talking about with parents, siblings, in the workplace, any place where you have experienced this kind of phenomenon where you're just kind of like, what the heck, was I just there? Like, I don't get it. And you find yourself being gaslit or lied to, or uh, being the scapegoat of, and you're trying to figure out, well, how did I get here and what does this mean? And then one day you kind of wake up like I did and you realize, oh shit, this is narcissism in its finest. How do I deal with that? So what I try to help people do is what I have happened to do by myself, and obviously I just continue to grow with it, and that is recognizing it, identify it, and then holding a mirror up to the people or the person or the persona that's keeping you in this captive flight or flight state, and then finding your way from the very lower depths of hell, because that's where you end up in the very beginning, because that's the first thing they do is take everything away from you, and you start really questioning yourself and how you're going, what you're doing, and am I imagining this crap? Which you're not. You just need to get a handle on what it is and know what it is. And then once you do and you're in the basement, it's about getting up out of the basement. It's about rising. So when things tickle your fancy, like you see the phoenix rising, this is you. In actuality, this is you. You can't go any lower if you're looking at a house than the basement, right? So at the phase where we are right now in this event, we're talking about the rise of you, the rise of understanding that, hey, I was there. I can't get any lower. Whatever happened, happened. I've dealt with it. I've gone through the first 3 or 4 stages, because we know there are 5 stages to it. So just look at it as 5 stages of your house, or 5 levels of your house. And when you start thinking about it that way and you start actually looking at your ascension, you then realize that what you've dealt with is a phenomenon. And what you're dealing with now is your own self growth. And so, in this episode of our event, we're going to talk about the positive ways in which we recapture ourselves to be a better self and a rise of a better self after we have felt defeated, set upon, lied to, treated badly, and we even start questioning our self worth. So, today, our conversation is going to be about how did we rise? How did we make that happen? Um, how much do we love ourselves? And how do we give back to the community to further our abundance through giving and through helping other people? So with all of that said, welcome everybody. But there's somebody on here that I really want her to start opening with this discussion. It's not going to start exactly where Annie and I thought it was going to start when we were talking about the show, but it's going to start with her experience. And I think it's really exciting because I was trying to question her before we got we got on the mic, and Annie said, "No, wait a minute, Dr. Yvonne. Let's make it be authentic and let her start from the beginning."
Right.
So that's what I want to see happen in the beginning. And I hope you guys heard what I was saying. And I hope I didn't ramble on too fast. But time is limited in this event, in this session, and I want her to get everything in, and I want us to then start talking about the positive aspects and how it fills our lives once we have gotten out of the survivorship mode, because we're no longer survivors at that point. We're conquerors, and we're taking on our life, and we're moving forward, and we don't have to put a name on it. So with that said, I close my mic, and Annie, do the introduction.
You're thriving. I said no. So we need to get back to thriving. I think that's the conversation we had, right? That's a plan. And so you have to find your abundance, otherwise you're stuck. I think we said we try to put it in line of we need to survivors need to come out of the fight or flight mode to really start living the life that they want to live following abuse. Okay, no, amazing. So Alavin's here to share with us. I see you too, Mr. Calm. Of course, we'll come to you in good time, my friend. Let me welcome Liana, superstar Liana. Glad you're here. It was great to have you here. And Amanda, I see you. There's more people here, but you haven't dropped a comment. So drop us a comment, say hello, say hi, so we can welcome you properly. Of course, if you want to join the studio, you can. The link is on the events page. But if you want the link to join the studio, just put this in the chat here. Not on my DM, not somewhere else, not on my WhatsApp. Put it on the chat here. And you send me the link, and I'll send you the link quite happily. It'll take me in a few seconds. So, we look forward to hearing from more of you. As Dr. Yvonne said, I do books. I wanted to write books. I want to publish a book. I want to help you write your book, publish your book, sell your book, and make you a bestseller. Yeah. And I just published a new book today, which excites me. That gives me joy, right? So, of course, books and events is what we do. Anyway, I love real conversations. So, Alavine, you're the star of the show today, my friend. Welcome to our studio. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, start where you want to start, my friend. Share with us what you feel to share with us. And Dr. Yvonne, I'm sure we'll join the conversation.
First of all, thank you very much, and hello everyone. So hello. I hope you are doing well, and thank you, Annie, to let me come here to share. And let's say about this topic, we can learn when we've gone so far. We can learn that we have a lot of quality, and what I've learned about myself due to all the things I went through, that I am stronger than I thought, you know, and I am a leader. I didn't know that. I am unstoppable now, and that's all. Let's say so. Just to say, like I said before we started, that I was talking about the fact I'm come from a toxic family. And by toxic, I mean I was a scapegoat, uh, always pushing aside, always mistreated, and I had some bad words like I was not my father's daughter, etc. And I was with a man who was, let's say, a perverse narcissist. It was not my word; it's a psychologist who had told me that. So I made some researches, and so, through this process to heal, to rise again, and to show who I am, I know that I am stronger now. I am an empath. I didn't know that before. I didn't know how much I was able to support. And I didn't know my ability to suffer, to go through things. And the best part I can say is the fact I have a lot of abundance inside, a lot of wealth, even if I don't have a lot of money. But I have this strength inside, and that is the part I can say about rising again, about being myself again. And I can say everything starts by respecting ourselves and making a decision, trying to follow this decision and to apply it. It is very hard, but it is possible. And it's, let's say, a step at a time. one step at a time. So that's all for the moment. If you have any question, I agree to share something more.
I
Dr.
would like
Thanks for sharing.
I would like you to, are we going to just do the introductions first? Because I really want you to get into your story, Elavine.
Sam and Calm, they know what events are like, so I'm sure they have to wait until their turn, right? Gents, so I say we'll go with Alavine. Let's hear her story. Cherry is here as well. Welcome, Cherry. So welcome all of you. Again, Cherry is one of my good friend on here for sure. And I'm sure Cherry's got some stories to share as well. Dr. Yvonne, you're going to be saying a lot less today because my friends here, them sharing the true story.
That's actually okay today, Annie, because
Yeah.
I'm just happy I was able to open my eyes today. Oh my God. Okay. So yes, I want to hear. I
Okay.
want to hear. I need to learn just like everyone else.
So please, and say
Right?
no. So I'll let you ask the questions, right? I'll let you
No,
ask the question and have a
no,
conversation with Levin.
no,
So
no.
Who's gonna ask the questions
I
then?
just told you that I just told you that I'm like sort of here. No, I'm serious. On a serious note, I am so interested in her because even when we were backstage and we were talking, um, to me she's fascinating. So, and I'm not speaking like she's not here, but I want to know her story. So I yield the floor. And I'll chime in. I always have crap to say, but this is interesting. And then we can take off on the other things that we wanted to touch on, and that's abundance. We'll do a segue into that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, so this is for the others on stage. So it's Cherry, for Calm, and for Sam. If you want to chime in, saying if you have questions, then by all means, feel free. All right. But I would take it easy. So Alavine, she's in the Indian Ocean, and English is not her main language, right? So, but now, so
yeah.
do
Which I
be on.
would have never known in speaking to her.
Exactly. No, so I was telling her this before we started. Her English is
So
super good. Go
yes.
for it,
So
Alavine. Go for it. I'll stop talking. I give you the mic, my friend.
let me introduce myself properly. So I am Arovin Payet. I am from Réunion Island, a department of French, France. We speak French here and a local language we call Creole, based on French. And so I say we speak French here. In fact, we learn to speak French at school because we speak Creole first. The second one is French, and after at school we can learn a little English, Spanish, or German. But beyond that, we don't really speak Spanish or English or German here. We are a little bit lazy about learning this language. Anyway, I live in Réunion Island. I live alone. I went through different toxic dynamics, even if I didn't know before. And let's say I'm in my late 30s. I am looking for another kind of job because I had an accident in my old workplace. I can continue to work with children. I worked with children. And now I'm also healing from my past relationships, friendships, love relationships, family members relationships, everything. It was all toxic, even if I didn't, at the time I didn't know it was toxic. For me, it was absolutely normal. It was not something strange. And I also started to learn English since October 2023. So less 2 years ago now, less than 2 years ago now. And I love English. I can tell you that. And now I started to teach people how to speak in English. And I'm like, each time I'm like, Oh my goodness, my language is so difficult. French is very difficult. And about the toxicity I'm talking about, let's say you say, let me give you a pretty simple example. You are a teenager, you are looking for who you are, you don't know your identity not yet, because you are not a child anymore and you are not an adult yet, and you need to know who you are, and your family members, someone you trust, take you aside and tell you something like, oh, you are not my son's daughter. You are, you don't know what your mother did in the past, etc. Some little words like that. But in front of everyone, they are like, oh, I love my first granddaughter so much. She's the one, she's good, etc. So it is two faces. It's like, in front of you, I said, I love you. And behind you, when nobody is looking, I tell you, you are nothing. I hate you. So it is that kind of things I had to face, since I was a child, with my family members, grandmother, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone in my father's family. My mother didn't believe me until when she heard them, let's say, trying to trap me. They was trying to trap me in a trap, to make sure that I will have a lot of problems. They ruined my reputation, telling that I am a prostitute. It was false, for sure, and they knew that. So it was that kind of things they did to me. And after, so I had a bad relationship with the men, two faces again, in front of everyone. Oh, she's the best. She doesn't want to marry me. But behind, I told him, but I agree to marry you. What's going on with you? Oh no, I will never marry you. The most important thing is what people believe, and only the results count. That was his word for against me. So I decided to leave everything behind, to start over. It was in 2022. Yes, I did that. I started that in 2022, looking for who I was. And after that, I discovered that I wanted to learn English. It was an old dream. So I decided to start it in 2023. I decided to look for what I am, who I am, and what I want to become. So I thought I wanted to work with children, but in fact, no. Even if I love them, it is not a problem. Um, I thought I wanted to work at airport to meet people, but not really, in fact. But something something stay with me. It's the fact I want to teach others. I want to help others going through their difficulties, being able to reach their goals, being free. I want to help them to break free uh, from their difficulties, like learning English, like that they can have a lot of professional opportunities, like that they can travel where they want, talk with who they want, etc. So that my desire now, and that's all I can say about me. And I discovered a lot of things, due to all of the betrayals I faced in my past. And that's all. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you. Thank
Arlovine, oh,
you. Go on, Dr. Yvonne.
Arlovine, I have a couple questions. So could you please expand a little bit more on, because you had narcissism, it would appear, or dealt with narcissism and abuse in several different aspects of your life until you started finding yourself. And the first you spoke about was as a child. Now, these are the years that you know, we are told, especially if you're not in the Western world, or have that dynamic in your family, that you have to listen to your elders. There's a certain amount of respect you have to show, and there's no questioning as a child. And what you said was you thought a lot of the behaviors that you were going through later in life was normal. And you come to find out that it wasn't normal because you went and you had a therapist. What I'd like to know is, what was it like for you when you were younger? You spoke of your grandmother, right? So then you had a narcissistic grandmother. And obviously, your mother supported that, probably because she too was a target some kind of way in this family. But the scapegoat is always the opposite of the golden child. So the golden child, they praise, they hold up high, but the scapegoat is the one that's the honest one, that calls things as they are, that puts people on the carpet. And they're also the ones that everybody pounds on and says, okay, that person is different. They give you a different moniker than who you actually are. Can you speak a little bit about that? And at what age did you start realizing, hey, there's nothing wrong with me, but there's a whole hell of a lot wrong with them? Why are they persecuting me? What part of your life, or what stage in your life, did you start to see a light and realize that's not me? I shouldn't answer to these names, and nothing about what I'm going through is normal. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so I started to notice something was not normal, and I was I was not what they said about me. It was about when I was, I guess it was around my 18th. Yes, I was 18, and I decided I was not like they said. Everything they said about me was false. And let's say, yes, it was this age, and I discovered that due to the fact, like an empath, you can notice things are wrong. And I, I let's say I was observing them for a while. I started to observe them around my 16, and for 2 years I observed things, very strong things, strange. It was very strange. And it was like, in front of me, they had one way to speak, in front of my parents, another way to speak. At home, we didn't have electricity, and I didn't have my own laptop. And I had to go in my father's family to do my homework. And it was there I noticed some little things. So for 2 years, I observed, wondering, I am normal. What is my problem? And by 18, when I turned 18, I knew for sure they had a problem. I didn't have the word narcissism or manipulation. No, I didn't have these words, but I knew if they wanted to be respected, I wanted to be respected as well. They uh, they didn't respect me at all, and they wanted me to accept the scratch they gave me, the little piece of love, or etc. And I noticed, yes, it was around that when I had to go to do my homework in their house. They forced me to go in, let's say, um, so is in some website for meeting men. I was not interested at that. And when my mother and my father arrived to see what I was doing, my family members told to my parents, "Oh, Arovin preferred to go online instead of doing her homework." It was false, but I listened to them, and I was turned. But what's going on with them? And yes, and by 18, I guess it was by 18, I really noticed it was not me. They did everything to make me shrink into their mode, and I shrinked into, to be honest. And it took me 2 years before trying to remove that. My father, it was with my father, yes. My father started to stop talking with me. He was very hard with me because I didn't obey anymore, and he didn't see the things, everything his family was doing. But my mother saw, but she was unable to fight against him, against them. She was too pride. She was her pride for her, and it was very bad. And she was too isolated as well as me. The problem in this family is the fact my mother is black and my father was white because now he passed away years ago, and it was for that I was the scapegoat, to be honest, because I didn't have a white mother, I think. And so it was very hard with my father for 2 years, and after he passed away, before passing away, he noticed who I really were. He gave me the strength to fight back, to start my, so let's say, my healing from my family members. But it was not enough because after, I didn't notice everything. So I went through a bad relationship, and it was like that. I started to notice who I was around my 18. That's it.
Hmm. What I'm hearing, so yours is even a little bit more complicated because when you bring in the fact that you're multiracial, and it was a negative thing in your culture. So my family is extremely racially diverse, but we're from the islands. So for us, this is normal. For us, it's normal to have a Chinese godmother, an East Indian or Pakistani auntie, a Black or African or Spanish mother, and then, I mean, we're used to that. It wasn't until coming to this country that it's some kind of, you know, um, taboo, basically. But you're in a completely different country, right? And you said you were going through that with your father's people. Are you trying to say that they were white or were they another race other than white?
So all of them are white with a lot of origin, because in Reunion Island we are mixed race people, even if we are white.
Yeah.
For example, in my father's family, they have Malagasian origin. They
Right.
have yes, from Madagascar. They have people from Africa. Sorry,
Yeah.
but they I don't know how, but for sure they are white, and they dislike, unfortunately, they dislike black people. And my mother, she has Indian people in her origin, so in her blood. So Indian, French, every, it's mixed race people, and here everything is about facade, appearances. You
Yeah.
you you will come here, people will tell you, oh, good. People will be very kind to you, but inside of every family, we always have this problem with this racism. So white people are against black people, and we don't see that when we come here for 2 weeks or for 2 months. We need to live inside the family to see that. That's the
So what
point
you're
in my.
saying, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but what you're saying is I what I'm hearing is because what I'm hearing is they're all African of some sort, and that
Hmm.
means they're all black. No matter what they are presenting, they are black.
Yeah.
So the problem is you don't present as white.
Hmm.
That's the
Hmm.
problem. Not that
Yeah.
they are white, it's just that they're white presenting.
Hmm.
Um, and so because you don't white present, you
Hmm.
are the black sheep. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying, right? Okay. So
Exactly.
it's colorism. It's
Hmm.
colorism. It's
Yeah.
it's it's not necessarily that you're black. It's that you don't present or
Yeah.
pass the way the
Hmm.
rest of your family did. And that's true of a lot of some of these Spanish countries too. Like Puerto
Hmm.
Rico, Dominican Republic, they're all black, but
Hmm.
they don't want to be presented as black. So if they can pass, which to me is the stupidest thing like I've ever even heard or seen or just been a part of. And it's not till recently that I realized in the islands there is a lot of colorism too, but I never dealt with that because the biggest thing in the islands is education and money over
Hmm.
colorism.
Hmm.
So if your family has money and your
Hmm.
family has high education, no matter how
Hmm.
black you present, you're going
Hmm.
to get the utmost respect.
Hmm.
Um, that's the only difference, but that happens across the board. When did you start realizing that what you was going through was narcissistic abuse?
I realized it was 3 years ago.
Oh,
Nothing,
wow.
not before. Yes, not before. Before I knew something was wrong. I knew something was about manipulation, but I didn't have this word at the time. I didn't have this word. I discovered this word, um, yes, around 2022, and psychologist told me I was going through that, and I noticed that okay, it was that. So, but before that, I didn't have this word. I didn't know it was that. For me, it was something like manipulation, toxicity, but nothing about narcissism. Nothing.
Yeah.
For me, it was not that. That's it.
For you, it was the common behavior that you grew up with.
Yeah.
And then you got in a relationship and you married somebody like that as well, correct?
He, hopefully I didn't marry him. We didn't
Good.
marry because he wanted to, he wanted to make me the bad guy. He wanted to make me the villain. To
Yeah.
say, no, she's cheating on me. She doesn't want to marry me. She wants to let me out. She wants to drive me crazy. He had this I don't know how to say, this kind of abilities, if I
Yeah.
can say, to
Mhm.
make people believe I was the villain. I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to build something true. I wanted just to cheat. I wanted I wanted to play games. It was not true. He was playing, but people, you know, people think he told the truth. Let's say, he tried to seduce me during let's say 6 months, letters, dates, gifts, everything. And after, when he was sure I was trapped, he told me that he started to say weird things. And I told him, you know what, if you continue like that, I will leave you, I will break with you. And he laughed, he laughed at me, literally. And a year later, I decided to do it, to break with him. My mistake was the fact I confronted him. I should have never confronted him.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
And I gave him another chance. No, you didn't understand. It was a misunderstanding. So I believed him.
Yeah.
We slept together. The following morning, before I wake up, I was sleeping. Okay, I was sleeping, and he wrapped me. So for 2 years, I was in a blur completely, no force, nothing left from me. And the third year after that moment, I woke up. I had my call. I had my woke up, and it was a simple message from him because he told everyone he was single. But I was texting him every day, and he told me, "Are you happy now? Everyone knows that I am not single." And that sentence woke up me, and I said, "You know what? I promised you long before I left you, I will break with you. And now it's time I will do it." But with him, each time I strategized, I planned something, he always had a counter attack, a counter things to block me. And I didn't know then that his mother was helping him. So
Oh.
I went for a random plan, and it worked. It worked, hopefully for me. He took me, let's say, almost 4 years to to yes to run away. Yes, almost 4 years, maybe five, to
Hmm.
be able to run away, because when he sensed he was losing control over me, he wrapped me again. And this time I said, no, I will not go again in this in this fog. I will strategize randomly, but I will do it. So it took me yes, almost 5 years, 4 or 5 years to be able to run away. And now I run away, and I'm free, not completely healing, because healing is not a linear process, but I am doing it. And you know, before we started that, and before you came in this platform, I was
Mhm.
telling to Annie that I was not ready to talk about my life, and
Mhm.
now you are giving me the stage to do it. And I feel all the emotions. I feel like I'm not clear, and it's everything it's so overwhelming now. I'm talking about what had happened to me, and I realized that I'm still afraid,
Mm.
and I still have this turmoil inside. And
Mm.
I think this moment you are giving me
Mm.
is another milestone, and thank you for that. I know we have to speak about something else, but thank you for this stage,
Mm.
because I think it's a way for me to heal, to move forward,
Mm.
and move toward who I really are, or maybe toward who I really meant to be, that way. So thank you very much for that stage.
You're so welcome. But this is what I want to do with you now. And I want to do this with everyone in the audience that would like to participate in the exercise that I'm getting ready to do with Elamine. So I would like everybody to get comfortable wherever you are. Just get comfortable. This is something that I do with my clients. And I listened to key words that you said. And I'm thinking that this is a perfect time to introduce this. I always give my clients and the people that I work with um, a balancing thing. And it's important to have balance. So, everyone, please just allow me for a couple of minutes. I'd like everyone to be comfortable where they're sitting. I like your feet to be flat on the ground. Don't cross your legs or anything like that. Keep them flat. Those of you who could do this. Um, I'd like you to just put a Y in the chat if you're willing to do this exercise. Just a Y. Now, feet flat on the ground. I want you to look at your hands. And the 3 fingers I want you to put together is your thumb. Touch your thumb to your pointer finger and then the middle finger. So you should have 3 fingers together, the thumb and the first 2 on both hands. Now I'd like you all to roll back your shoulders and open your chest and straighten your spine, straighten your head. So feet flat on the ground, roll back your shoulders, fingers in that position. This is a mudra, and what we're going to be doing is conducting self energy. All right? I'd like you guys to do this. Put a yes in the chat, please. A Y in the chat before you take this position. Now, with that, I'd like you to close your eyes. This exercise is for grounding. And this exercise is to break up energy, especially negative energy that is around you, or when you're feeling this stress or you're feeling levels of anxiety. So with that, you're going to hear a crystal bell. I want you to close your eyes, breathe in through your nose to 5, my count of 5. Hold for 2, and then breathe out through your mouth for 6, collapsing your chest, your shoulders, and your head. And then I'd like you to restructure again and breathe in for 5, hold for 2, and out for 6. Keep your eyes closed. Hang on to the highest note you can hear. And this is happening in 1, 2, 3, 4, and hit it. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let it go. Now, let it go. Hold on to that highest note. Highest note. Highest note. Now, everything is down. Roll the shoulders back and breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release it all. Release it all. Hold on to that top note. Do you hear it? You should be feeling it. We're releasing anxiety, releasing stress. We're feeling safe, safe place. Release it all and roll the shoulders back. One more time. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 1, 2. Hold that note and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release it. Now set the intention of self. Keep that in your thought, in your process. Hold on to that highest note. Hold on to it. You should feel it from your crown chakra all the way to your root chakra. Feel your feet and that generation that you feel in your fingers. That is self-involvement. Listen to the highest note. Keep your eyes closed. Release everything. Release it all. You're in a safe place. and you're breaking up that negative energy, you're actually winning. So, what we just did for you is we got rid of that stress, and I'm hoping you felt that. Did you feel that? Did you feel that?
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Did
Thank you
everyone
very much.
feel that? And I want you to be honest. Did everyone feel that?
Yeah.
This is what you do, dear, when you are in a situation, in a space where anxiety, because of everything that you went through and because you're actually reliving it in your mind. But see, remember this, we never have to live there again. See, we went through those things, okay, in different ways, but we all went through those things because it is something that is going to structure how you move forward in life. It is your knowing that none of that has anything to do with you. You were simply the person in that space at that time that everybody could point to and say, if I'm having a bad day, if this shit isn't going right, it's all Elevine's fault. It's all her fault. We'll put it all on her doorstep. And we know that she's an empath, which is a secret they kept away from you because your spirit was pure where theirs was not. You'll find that when you deal with people and you see people in the light that they are, you will see the difference between a soul that is pure and empathic and understands how to help other people. You're willing to help other people, and those that are of the dark and not of the light. And you're always going to find yourself in a spiritual war with these people. So when you're speaking of this right now, you're helping so many others. And this is what they did not want you to do. And so when we ground ourselves, right? Because that mudra that I just gave everyone, right? That mudra, you can do this anywhere when you are feeling this stress. Sure, you don't have this crystal bell from Tibet, and I'm really proud of myself for having it all these years. But you don't need that either. If you find the peace within your mind and you hang on to the highest note in your mind and you regenerate your power by holding that mudra and saucing up your positive energy while putting behind the negativity that you find yourself in, you can recenter yourself at any time. So, this is something I taught my children. Everything that I speak on is because I've been through it, I know it, and I have lived it, and I have survived it. But you see, when they want to drive you crazy because they're telling everybody around how insane you are or how you're bad or, all this other shit, they need to do that because they're wearing the mask. You're not. But they don't want other people to know what mask they're wearing. So, what better way than to create a scapegoat, especially for a narcissist? And when he finds someone who is an empath, he's going to dump all that crap on that empath, or she is going to dump all that crap on the empath. So that's what you found yourself in. And you're just beginning your journey. So, of course, you're going to be anxious to speak on it. But remember something, the only way that abuse and pain can grow is in silence. That's the only way. Now, everyone that I'm sharing about is still very much alive. And a lot of them watch what I do. Do you think I care? I don't care. Because in none of it am I lying. In none of it am I falsifying information. I just went through a situation this weekend and I was only trying to bury my uncle, you know, and the viciousness of some of these people for someone who literally just sat in a corner silently giving praise to an uncle that I loved very much. I realized that it doesn't matter where it's coming from. If someone can pin something on somebody because of jealousy, insecurity, spite, whatever it is, it's up to the person they're pinning it on for their reaction or lack of reaction. So, grounding yourself is the easiest way around combating anxiety and bullshit. So that's what I just brought you through. And I hope that in the future, because see, what's happening here to you is you're going to become a voice for people that might be in your culture, you know, that don't speak about it. So thank you for sharing it with us. And yeah, I did push you. I did not know that you and Annie had the conversation that you didn't want to discuss it. But I hope that you see the goodness that you brought to this event. Can you feel that? And you just be honest. If you don't feel it, you don't feel it. But can you feel the support now in this room, in this event for you?
I feel it, and you know, after your exercise, I feel good, grounded, um, safer as well, and lighter a little bit. And so thank you too. You know, it is quite interesting. You know, it was not. I didn't want to speak. It was I felt I was not ready, and maybe it was about I. I felt like I didn't deserve to speak about it. You know, it was like I didn't have the right to speak. And thank you for pushing me like you did. And thank you for everything. And thank you, everyone, for your support. Thank you for all, you know, for everything. So thank you all. That's my words.
Well, I appreciate your bravery in coming forward. I had no idea you didn't want, you weren't ready to talk, but ooh wee, you need to talk because
Yeah.
there's a million people out here that need to hear your voice. Special people come to special spaces. There is nothing that was, a coincidence. There are no such things as coincidence. You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to speak regardless of whose platform it is. This was your opportunity. Your birth is something that we all just witnessed.
Mm.
And that's just beautiful. So thank you so much for being so brave and know that you are not alone. There are times that I really know that I'm alone. And this weekend was one of them. And my family is huge, huge Roman Catholic Caribbean family. And all I did is walk into my uncle's home and say good morning. That's all I did. I got off the airplane. I drove to their home, and everyone was cooking in the kitchen and doing all kinds of stuff. And, they didn't cater their meal. A lot of us cater, right? But they didn't cater, they cooked. And I just came in and I said good morning. And what I was met with was an onslaught of the most negative energy that I have experienced in years from my own family. And it was actually just from one person. And she was like a deadly disease, incessive disease on the eve of her father's passing or his internment. And I just continued to stay grounded, continued to be in nature, continued to plant my feet in the earth and surround myself with the children because all the children only wanted to talk to me. And I think that created some issues with, other people as well. But I just sat there and they came to me and they had a ton of questions and I answered them. But I never imagined I was going to be walking into that because I just walked in and said good morning. And on the final day, after I had, before I had to deal with Trump and all the bullshit that's going on in the southern states, I was told that my good morning was me being self-important. I didn't understand it. Didn't understand it. But the realization of these people being narcissistic, evil ass people, woke me up. So even in my good of leaving my husband, who literally he couldn't walk, I've been nursing my husband for, I think it's been like 15 days now. He got injured at work. And I left him for 2 days so I could say goodbye to my uncle. And that is what I walked into. So sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with us, dear. Nothing to do with us. But evil people do evil deeds. And it's up to us to keep ourselves centered. That was what I learned this weekend. And so coming on my platform today and speaking with you just alerted me to the fact that no matter how far we think we have gotten, we're always going to be faced with evil ass people. So I'm glad that you liked the exercise, and I want you to write that down, and I want you to use that when you are in a situation where you're feeling uncertain or unsettled or not safe. Conduct the energy back to yourself as pure, positive energy. If you can't go out and hug a tree or put yourself in earth, you have the ability to heal yourself. And a lot of people don't understand that our bodies literally can heal ourselves. All right. We can literally heal ourselves. But the person that has to believe that and talk to your body, talk to your brain, talk to your mind, talk to your nervous system, stop it from the fight or flight anxiety that you get is you. And that is by commanding everything that is within you. Hey, my shoulder is hurting me. Go to this place in my shoulder and help me heal. Do your magic, because the bottom line is that's how we were created. And we have to put that internally. So you're very welcome. And I hope that in the audience somewhere, somebody else thought that this was a good practice for them.
Yeah, I mean, to Alexis and Yolanda, they got the wide. Alexis says, yes, somewhat peace. So, welcome, Alexis. Whilst you're here, thank you for joining us. To Yolanda, so my author friend, your book's coming along, Yolanda. It's coming. Chapter 2 is virtually done, so we're on to Grandma's chapter now. It means nothing to the rest of you, it means something to Yolanda. She knows what I'm talking about, right? Curtis, welcome, sir. Great to have you here. Always a pleasure to have you in our rooms. It's a privilege more than a pleasure, right? Probably both. So Lou's in Netherlands, thank you for being here. Yolanda says God is abundance. This is the abundance we must find. No, thank you so much, Alavine. I think I expect we might come back to you because I'm intrigued by your passion for helping others. I was hoping we're going to go to Sherry next, but Sherry has disappeared. She might come back in a second, and then we can talk to her. So I'd love to get her thoughts on the topic. Well, Buluwatife, how are you doing, my friend? Glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Alexis says the topic is fantastic. So I have first-hand experience or life experience. I'm now thriving. So that's the answer, right? Now we need to get to that place of thriving rather than just surviving and struggling. It takes a lot to recover and re-embrace life. I hear you. So Dr. Lisa, welcome. I see you. How are you doing? Glad you're here. Sean, I see you as well, my friend. Hopefully you're going to join us, Sean, for my event later on, right? Yes, our conversation in it being your authentic self in business live is How do you find joy in your work? Is it do what you love, or is it love what you do? Sure, I'm sure you got some thoughts on that one, right? Do join us and try and help us to learn something, right? Thank you so much. Right. Okay, Sam, it seems that we're coming to you, my friend. We just lost calm. So hopefully, again, the internet does what internet does, right? And people do come back. So, Sam, how are you doing? What do you want to share with us on our topic, my friend? Sam, come back. Sam. Okay, Sam is not unmuted. Okay, we're not going to wait all day, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's normally what I do, right? So no, so Dr. Yvonne, so no, I do want to explore this. I think in our description, in our conversation, you said finding the passion to help others,
Yeah.
giving back, I think was the word you used,
Yeah.
is a big part of finding our joy, our abundance. So I'm intrigued. So I'm interested to know for Alavine, she's passionate about helping people to learn English, especially kids. So I would love to know how that passion is helping you find yourself, Alavine.
So, let's say helping others is like helping me at the same times. When I help someone else, when I see a smile in their face, when I see light in their eyes, I am so happy because it is like I give this help I didn't get in the past, and you know, I I try every time to give others what I was craving for. I was craving for being helped, and I don't know how to explain this other thing. It is like I feel their pain, and it is like I know without speaking how to help them. They don't need to speak. It is like I can it is strange what I'm saying, but it is like I can read their energy. It's like I can read um, how I can help, and I
Yeah.
feel I feel fulfilled
Yeah.
when I do it. I can explain it. It is not because I don't have the words, but it is because it's something very
It's
overwhelming.
something it's
Yes,
something innate. It's something
yes.
innate because you are an empath and you are sent where you are needed. And
Thank you.
that's a power. That's a superpower.
Mhm,
And so what you're struggling right now to express is that no one has to tell you when you're needed. It's
mhm,
something that your little antennas go up and you are sent by
mhm,
stronger forces to
mhm.
help that particular person.
Yeah.
So that is what an empath is, and that's why narcissists find you, because
Mhm,
you see they don't have that. They don't know
mhm,
what that is. They just know that if they have your power, your energy around them, they can look good while being in public or their public persona. But in order to keep you stranded and keep you down and keep you where you think you should be, they can then further utilize your energy. So I will
mhm,
tell you this without you being a client of mine first. I will tell you this. Your energy is what saves you.
mhm,
Understand that your energy is what they crave, but they're going to
mhm,
break you down in order for you to understand or for you to think you're not important.
mhm,
Just so they have a battery pack that they can utilize when they have stopped taking your energy and turning it into something that they need. Once you realize that your energy is your money It's your abundance, it's your happiness, it's your joy, it's your safe place. When you understand that you cannot give that energy to everyone
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you cannot share that energy with everyone, you then, many people might say I'm a recluse, right? Because I'm always the one. Someone is in trouble. All right, go talk to me, right? I have a family name. Every Jamaican person has two names. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to say what my family name is here, but let me just call it a P. And they'll say, okay, go talk to Pete. Oh, you have an issue with something with law, go talk to Pete. Oh, you need your kids are sick and we need to know what to give them, to drink, go talk to Pete. Oh, whatever it is, go talk to Pete. They'll use it. They'll use you
Mhm.
because you're a source,
Mhm.
but they don't want to see you thrive.
Mhm.
So after they get what they're getting from you, they'll bring you back down to what they consider is earth. This is
Mhm.
where you have to learn to protect yourself.
Mhm.
That's all. You get sent where you need to be. It's up to
Mhm.
you now to use the sixth sense, which is discernment. Do they deserve that energy? Do they deserve that power? Do they
Mhm.
deserve your time? When you start understanding what that really means,
Mhm.
you'll then turn that into power and you
Mhm.
will know who to use it with and who to say, you're a great person, which is a lie, you're a great person and I know you have a lot to offer, but it's just not the right time for me.
Mhm.
And the most powerful word that you will learn in your ascension is no.
Mm.
When
Yeah.
you learn to say no, you are then the pilot, all right, of your airplane, of your ship, the captain of your ship. You are then in the helm. And once you understand that you've taken your rightful place, everything for you will just literally take off because
Mhm.
you would have gotten rid of
Mhm.
the people that are sucking you dry, the vampires. And
Mhm.
that's where you are right now. So if I were to say, where's Olivine in the house? I would say you're probably on the second floor.
Mhm.
Nobody
I
ever
think
really, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think so, because I'm learning to say no right now. I'm in this stage of learning to say no when I don't want to do something. And I'm in this stage where I'm trying to learn who I can help, who I should help, and who I should not help, And I think you're right about the second floor.
Yeah. Discernment is going to be your
Mhm.
biggest ally.
Mhm.
All right. Now, when I got, when I'm just using this particular situation because it just happened to me. But
Mhm.
when I realized that the green monster had hijacked what should have been a somber moment in our lives, because this was the last uncle and sibling of nine
Mhm.
of my brothers, my father's brothers. This should have been a time that sewed us together. And instead, literally, I was a scapegoat. And all I did is get off the airplane, drive, get to the house, open the door, and say, "Good morning, everyone." That's all I did. That's it. And, for, I don't know, for 2 days or whatever, they didn't talk to me. And when it finally came out, they said, "Well, um, it's how you came in and said good morning." And my thing was, and I'm going to swear here, are you fucking kidding me? That was my response. And I took a shower and I got out. I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. but it was what they wanted to do because they're the devil themselves incarnate. And I'm the light, and they couldn't take it. And then later I found out about the fighting and the houses and just, all kinds of stuff. And then the text that I got, so disrespectful. So disrespectful. I would never send anyone any correspondence like that. And my response was just really easy. And I'll say it. My response was, fuck you. I'm not going to keep this up in my head. Why should I? All I said was good morning. But you see, if I would have responded, with, well, you did this and you did this, and there was no contingent because there was no argument. So I have nothing to respond, but you're a freaking idiot. And just keep on about my way. I know the impression that I made was on the kids, the next generation. And if this is what you choose to be, this is what you choose to be. But I'm not taking any responsibility for your shortcomings.
Right.
So I created my own safe space in that moment. I took my shower, I got myself together. And the thing is, they will never know the extent of what I went through to mentally be able to deal with such negativity on such a time when everybody is literally mourning. You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I said I like what Yolanda's saying. She said it sounds like them issues to me, Dr. Yvonne. It's their character, not yours. That's a bit off. That's why I add to that, right? Just
Yes.
brush your
Thank
shoulders
you.
off.
Thank you, Yolanda. But that's exactly where I ended with that. And yes, because at first, when the young woman opened her mouth and said, well, it was the way you said good morning, I was gobsmacked. And her brother just turned and looked at her and said, are you hearing yourself right now? And I said, say less. And I got the hell out of Dodge. And I'm right here today. This was what, yesterday? Was it yesterday, Annie? When did I even get back in town? I don't even.
Yesterday, so night before last, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was at 3 o'clock in the morning, nonetheless, guys. 3 o'clock in the morning. All right. So, yes, Yolanda, you are definitely right. It is a them issue. And I'm kind of like, what do you do? Now, the old me would have, I would have racked my mind, what did I do wrong? The guilt would have come on me and, all this other stuff that, dude, like I've always been a strong person. I've always fought, I've had to fight living in the United States and being Caribbean, coming to this country in the 60s. And I had to fight against my own people. My own Black people, not Jamaican people, my own Black American people. I had to fight against them. And that was what I went through with my own family, though, over the weekend, just because I exist. But the light always interrupts the dark. And what was funny is that same woman, her son said to me, he wouldn't leave me alone. He's 25 years old and he wouldn't leave me alone. He just had all these questions and he wanted to know, well, what is the significance of the jewelry? And, I didn't even know these kids even knew who I was or followed me or whatever. And it was like, well, but Auntie Paula, what about this? And what about this? And what about, they were all around me, asking me questions. And I don't think that those mothers like that either. Maybe they don't talk to their mothers. I don't know. But I was a scapegoat. And I enjoyed myself with those kids. And the one thing they told me was when they heard about me, everyone said, she carries the light. And I said, you guys heard that? Yeah. When you come around, everybody is happy. And that struck me because why wasn't his mother happy? Why wasn't she happy? but the kids were. And mostly everybody else was too. Um, and in the end, the message that I got was from the other sister, who I didn't know that her and I had any problems. I had no idea. So you see, if you allow these people to push you back in the basement, you got to start all over again. And of course, I'm not going to allow that. That's bullshit. But that's just the experience of being an empath when you're among wolves. You've got to protect your energy. And so that exercise, you guys, should help you sometimes. Recirculate your energy and make it positive. Boost your immune system in that moment. Release stress and anxiety. And know that whatever it is challenging you at that time has nothing to do with you. So you have to protect your energy, your spirit, and the way you think and feel about yourself. Because their whole reason, no matter who it is, for attacking you that way is to bring you down to the basement, to the dungeon where they reside. And I know people say meet people where they are. Yes, you could choose to do that. Or you can choose to say, I really don't go that low anymore. I don't want to meet you there. I respect your position to be there, but I refuse to be there. I'm not there anymore, but you can raise yourself. And when you raise yourself, check me then. Choose your battles, walk away. Because if you start answering these people back, you're going to go right back down, and then your healing journey is starting from square one again. So that's what you got to remember. Create your own soft space. And you do that by collecting yourself, regaining your insight, and knowing that what their problems are has nothing to do with you. So I hope you guys got that from that.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure. It says that when that's emotional, as I call it, the proverbial basement, but it's emotional basement, really, right?
yes,
It's it's mentally bottom, rock bottom, really. But I think that I love when you say Alavini is on the second floor. So it's just long escapes that basement, and no one wants to spend time there in the right mind. Now, Yolanda, I see you, Christiana. I'll come to you in a second. Yolanda says, I have no problem with saying no, 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 and no again. Wait, no. And don't ask me no more. Sam, I'll come to you in a second. That's a laugh.
Oh, wait. So who wants to?
Christiana,
Oh,
that's
okay.
you. Welcome, Christiana. Sam, sorry, my friend.
Yes.
We lost
Yes.
you for a second. So, go on, the mic is yours, my friend. Are you on mute? No, you're not on mute on my end. I can see. No, you're not on mute. I don't know why we
I don't
can't
know why
see
my
you.
phone always does that.
No,
It
you're fine
pairs-
again. You're fine now.
It
You're fine
pairs to
now.
my phone for
Yeah.
some weird reason every time.
Yeah.
But my question is for men that might have a girlfriend or someone that has been abused, right? How do we navigate that as far as I would assume that if someone's been in a toxic relationship, they carry PTSD to the next person, right? So it's like, how do I handle them with kid gloves so that, they don't attribute their abuse to me?
Well, first of all, no kid gloves, right? This is someone you're in a relationship with, and they're going to need all of you, just like you're going to need all of them. But in most situations, no one listens to these women. No one respects their opinion. They just want what they have to give them so they can move on and share it with other people. Most people that have been in narcissistic relationships, male and female, the narcissist usually cheats on them. And that's because they have to get new and fresh supply. But they still keep you, because you're the one that they think is never going to leave them. All right. And in most cases, We don't, because we married for love and we thought that they loved us, but they just saw either a successful woman, either an empath that they could use the energy from, or a chosen one. That's usually what narcissistic men go for. And also women that are strong and intelligent, they go for that too, right? Because they need that energy. So if you're in a relationship with someone who is struggling or has survived an abusive relationship, she's looking for a soft space to land. She's looking for someone to listen to her, not shun her, not be in the same house with her and not say but two words, not come around and bully her around and bully the children around so she has to fight. She wants an honest person, no fallacies, and she wants to be able to come to you whether she's in a perplexing state or whether she is in a good space. When your woman or man, well, actually, woman, I should say, because you don't want a man that does this. You want a man that's going to put his head on your chest and feel okay doing that, being vulnerable to you. But a woman, when she can be a child in front of you, when she can play games and be hopscotching around or go to the store and get excited about a piece of candy or something like that, or you know that she likes flowers, you surprise her with flowers, because what a narcissist will do, the only time you'll get flowers is when he's either cheating on you or when he needs something from you and he's going to be blowing smoke up your butt to get it. So he'll buy you flowers to soften you up. But if he knows you like flowers, you'll never get them just because. There's always a reason behind it. If you could be full face with her, if you could give her a soft place to land, and if you can allow her to be a child, that's all you need to do. And listen. But handling her with kid gloves, she doesn't need that because she's a woman. She needs a soft place to land. And if that's who you are, then that's who you should be. She wants honesty and she needs love because before she didn't get it. And in any relationship, you have to understand the love language of your partner. See, the narcissist will know what your love language is. They just won't give it to you because they want to see you in pain. That brings them joy. It brings them joy to see you upset, sad, and looking terrible. Because then when they go out there and they cheat and they do all this, they say, "Oh, you know, um, I did this, because you're so miserable. And every time I come home, I got to fight with you. Or when I come home, you look like a dish rag. And I go out there and I see what I can get." What the narcissist doesn't understand is the only reason why these women are attracted to you is because of the woman that you're shaming in private. Because for some reason on the outside, you look so freaking perfect and you're so far from it. And the reason you look good is the woman that you're abusing at home. So if the question is, how do you deal with someone who has PTSD and is trying to move on with their life, but they find you and you happen to be the one that they sort of want to be in love with but are scared, be that soft space and listen. That's all.
For me as well, because I have PTSD from being robbed a bunch of times and hurt by people that were, claimed to be my friends and claimed to be best friends. So, it's like I feel like sometimes I'm still dealing with that myself, and I don't know if PTSD is universal, where you have a woman that's been RAP'd, you have someone that has gone to war, you have someone that's been in a toxic relationship, and you have someone like me. I don't know if all of four of our stories are all completely the same, and how we handle things is all completely the same, or it's like, maybe the woman that's been RAP'd is affected worse versus a woman that has just been beaten up, or a woman that's just been emotionally abused. I don't know how the spectrum applies. You know, because like for me, what it's done to me personally is it's caused massive trust issues.
Yeah.
It's caused me to. Um, it's tough to have friendships. It's tough to have girlfriends and stuff because I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, she's cheating on me. He wants to screw me over. Whatever it is. So I don't know if that's how women feel being in a toxic relationship. If they feel like, oh, he's a narcissist, he's only nice to me because he wants to have sex with me, or whatever it is. So can you speak on that, on how it varies across the spectrum when it comes to PTSD? So I've never spoken to anyone about this. I don't even know why I'm speaking about this on a public forum. But yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you for trusting us, because vulnerability is a huge key to dealing with topics and issues like this. Um, you know, all of us are so different, right? And we go through our circumstances differently. And I don't know that there's a set dynamic um, to, if somebody is sexually hurt or if somebody is physically beaten. I don't know that that would be something, you understand, um, that you can actually put in a box. You can't, because everybody reacts so differently. And I want to thank you for speaking on in such a public forum on this matter. And I thank you for your vulnerability. Now, getting back to um, how one should deal with things of this nature, I will say this. It's not a matter of putting everybody in the same, category with what they're doing, how they're feeling, and how they're reacting. What it is what part of their reaction is more blatant to you? What part of their reaction can you say, okay, well, I feel like that's a trigger? You know, you really have to look at the person that you're dealing with, and you have to understand where they are coming from and how you can best help them. But the other part of that too is speaking to your person, talking to your person and saying, you know, um, I noticed XYZ about you. How do you want me to help you? And be genuine about it. Um, you know, being genuine is how you face everything, because the big deal for people in this kind of position or in this thought process in their head is finding someone who's going to be honest with them. See, they've been lied to and they've been treated like crap. They've been given crumbs. They've settled for crumbs. For one reason or the other, they've settled. I used to settle because I used to say, we're building something, right? Because my whole idea is I'm building I'm building a empire. But when you build an empire, you have to have a king and a queen, or an emperor and an empress. You have to have that partner to walk through life with. And I hope this is making sense in the answer to your question, Sam. The truth is, you have to be honest, you have to be forthright, you have to be vulnerable. And I don't think that it matters how they came across this PTSD. It's more about how they chose their lover or their significant other. And if you happen to be that person that they choose, or if you're the person that was abused, because see, what I'm hearing from you, Sam, is that you were probably the innovator um, in your friend group or even in your family.
Yeah.
And you were the one with the heart, and you were the one that was willing to share. But you see, everybody wanted to take that from you.
Yeah.
And because they wanted to take that from you, you were just of the mind, I'm doing what I should be doing, what I was taught to do. But you didn't understand that that came with a heavy burden. And part of it is understanding, right, that you have that sixth sense. It's called discernment. And when you understand that you have the ability to say, well, I see that red flag and I'm not going to ignore it, right? No matter who they are, no matter if they're mother, sister, brother, lover, if there's a red flag, guess what? There is a red flag. And you got to trust yourself enough that if your gut is saying, trust yourself enough to say, dude, you're cool, you're my ace, you're this, you're that, or baby, I love you, this and that. But guess what? Not today, not on my watch. Is it good for me? If it's not, see, my thing was I used to hate to ask. I used to hate to ask for anything. I used to figure it out. It was always, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. But you're the only one figuring it out. Everybody else is coming to the well and extracting from it. And they're happy as hell. They're hee hee ha ha all the way to the bank if it's a business deal. They're hee hee ha ha in the back talking about, look at what I got this idiot to do. Look at what I have right here. They don't have it. You know, they got what they needed to get from you. You're so busy pouring into all these other people. And then when you look up, you're empty. When you're in trouble, there's nobody around, right? That's because they know that you're the lick. They know you're the soft touch. And they know they can get it from you. Why? Because you're an empath. See, they're not. They could care less. They're there to get what you can give. Once you start realizing that, you'll stop giving. It's hard though, because you're a giver by nature. And your parents also taught you to turn the other cheek, which is a lot of bullshit. All right? It's just pure KD bullshit in every term.
Because there's always a manipulator, and it's like I don't know if our Levine has had this similar thing, but also you typically pick the wrong person consistently because you hurt the people who actually give a fuck and treat the people who don't well, but you treat the people who actually care terribly, and that's something I've learned along the way as well. In this healing journey, if you will. And obviously, it's still a journey, but that's something I've also learned. I wonder if y'all have experienced that same situation where you typically hurt the one that actually cares.
Yeah, but
I don't think that you're hurting the one that typically cares because you want to do that. That's not it. What it is these other people that don't care about you have taken everything from you. So by the time the real person has come along, it could possibly be just the timing. Timing is everything. But for someone who is on a healing journey, who is not a narcissist, but actually the empath, and you're tired because you're the one scraping to get up now that you've given everything away.
Mm,
You have to learn to trust yourself.
mm, mm.
And that is discernment.
Yeah.
And that is what we as empaths is missing, because we
Mm,
don't want to believe that people are inherently icky. We want
mm,
to believe that people are inherently good. So what this comes down to is centering yourself, getting a strong root chakra, so you're strong in your foundation, and then honoring yourself. You don't honor yourself. A lot of
mm,
us don't honor ourselves because we think it's selfish. But
mm,
what is wrong with being a little selfish? Honestly, if it's going to move the rest of everything around you to a positive place, nothing.
Yeah, look, Christiana says, well done, Sam, for speaking your truth and not being afraid to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. So I think that's definitely a good one, right? That's
Well, especially for men. Men don't typically talk about it, right? Women, it's, women can talk about it all day long, but typically men don't. We don't talk about it because we don't have an outlet to talk about it. You know,
mm,
we, you know, our friends are like, what are you talking about? Even family. So that's the thing for men. It's tougher because we don't have an outlet to deal with it. We just have to kind of, hold it in and hold it in and hold it in, and then we snap, and everyone's like, "Well, what happened? Why did he snap?" And it's because he's been holding it in for decades, and that's typically the thing with men that that I found, and that the narrative has to change because a lot of men get sexually abused. A lot of men get abused in toxic relationships, but nobody talks about that because men are
mm.
too afraid to come and speak out about it. Um, so that's that.
Let's hear from Malivine now. I
Yeah.
wonder what her thinking is on this part of the conversation.
So you said, Summer, it is difficult for men to speak. I agree, and I disagree at the same time. I think for women it is also difficult to speak about this kind of situation because nobody believed us when you say yes. Oh, my boyfriend is like this or like that, because everyone will see what they want to see. In my case, for example, they told me a lot, oh, you are lucky, you are the luckiest woman. So I think it depends on the situation. Yes, in the education, the way men are raising, uh, they have this teaching that they have to hold on, they have to keep secrets, they have to shut up. But at the same time, women as women have also this teaching, if I can say, this training. They, a lot of time I heard, women have to hide, women have to shrink themselves to be correct. Being a good woman is to shut up, is to accept this, is to settle for less, etc. I think it depends on the situation, but yes, at the same time, when men have a difficult situation, it is tougher to speak about it than a woman. But I think the reactions are almost the same, except that for women it's more like you have to have a husband because it's in our DNA, if I can say. But for men, is, oh, you have to hold on because you're a man. A man should show power, should show they are able to do everything. So that's it. And I want to add something about your last question. I think when you go in another relationship, the most important thing is also to don't try to fix it. Yeah, I mean, if you try to fix the person, to fix the broken person, it is wrong. You have to be beside her or him to help this person to heal, and to heal along the way with you, with your support, with your understanding, but not try to heal this person, not try to fix this person, to fix any situation, to fix the moment she or her or he sobs too much. No, we just need to be beside, nothing more. And to be honest, in my case, I'm not ready to let someone else come in my life like that. I have this way to be afraid mm, about everyone. For now, let's say my relationships are almost only online. I have almost no friend around me, physically speaking, and I'm good like that because I need that. I need this loneliness to heal. That's the point. But I think I think it is not tougher or less difficult, etc., to speak about some certain topics. That's the point.
You
Well,
know, I like
thank
what you
you.
said because something that Dr. Yvonne said that sticks with me, that ties in what you said, which is timing is everything. And there was times where I'm like, man, I hate that I'm single. I hate that I'm alone. I don't have anyone. But like you mentioned, sometimes that alone is actually what you need to heal. So, I definitely agree with you on that.
Well, Sam and Elohim, I'm thrilled that you guys came on this. I'm so happy. So I think that, well, we do this like every 2 weeks. And I would like to invite you guys back to speak next week. Because I think that we have to call it now because Annie, I think, has another platform coming up. But I'm going to give you guys some homework. So if you have some paper and pen, just write down this homework for a minute. Now, I ask my clients to do this during the first couple weeks of um, working with me. And I want you guys to do this. I want you guys to start with positive affirmations. Now, I know people say, oh, affirmations, da, da, da. Let me tell you something. What we're trying to do with the affirmations is redefine our minds. We have to remember that we are co-creators of our existence. And because we are co-creators of our life and the way we exist, our mind has to be in the right place. So what we want to do is we want to start working on ourselves to the point where we trust ourselves to know what is going to be inherently good or inherently bad. So we want to trust the lessons that we've learned in our life, right? So what I'd like you to do, number one, is go on YouTube, find the affirmations, subliminal or otherwise, that best describe where you are right now in your journey, in your ascension. Because remember, we're relatively all ascending. We're all on different levels of the floor, right? My ascension started in 2017, right? So that's the first thing I'd like you to do. The second thing I'd like you to do is when you get out of the shower in the morning, stand in front of that mirror, naked, and point out everything about yourself that the first time, point everything out about yourself that you think you don't like in your appearance, right? But immediately after that, I want you to start telling those things how much you love and adore them. And understand that the person that is going to come into your life is going to love all those things you were always told or felt were your shortcomings. That's all. That's all. And I want you to ground yourself every single day before you start dealing with anyone, before you get on the phone. Spend that time in selfish solitude, loving yourself. And then when we come back in 10 days, share what that did, if anything, in the way you perceive other people. If you guys are up to do that and come back and talk about it next week and let people know just how important these two exercises are, I would be very grateful. Would you guys be willing to do that?
Yeah, Sam's up for it. So it's in 2 weeks' time, so not next Wednesday, Wednesday after that, right?
Right.
So, how my diary works. Do you remember when I asked you, Sam, what's your routine? What's your morning routine? Remember when I
Yeah.
asked you, and you said, "What?" Right now, this is a morning routine. It's how many people start that day. It's finding your peace and finding who you are. That's what Yvonne said. I'm a great believer in affirmations, and I think what we speak to ourselves is what we become. Right? It really is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just remember, we're co-creating here. This platform wouldn't have been here if it not been for Annie. And, you know, I wouldn't be speaking about this stuff, honestly, because I was working through it. But I've been helping people, honestly, I could say my whole life. But now this is my voice is what is required at this point. Even on my podcast, I only talk when there's a download, when I have something to say. And this gives me the opportunity to download even more, and hopefully other people can learn from the things that I've been through. And you got to remember, even if someone is speaking at an expert level, no one ever knows anything or everything. We're constantly learning, and when we understand that evolution or the process of evolving means that you're learning. But when you're learning, you're actually taking the messages, right, and the lessons, and you're applying them to your life, applying them to your situation. It's in the application that we thrive, not in knowing, but it's in the application of actually presenting that in our lives. So with that, you guys, wow, I think we have to go, right, Annie?
Yes, we do. We do. So when I tell you my next event, before we do that, I do like to mention the comments that we have. Tracy says this is so hurtful to hear someone has to live two separate lives, literally, right? One the outside and the inside differs an ocean away. So that's many people who are misaligned.
Yeah.
The whole point, again, for the affirmation is to create alignment. Inner joy. This is what reflects outer joy. That's my take anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I like what Yolanda said earlier. Let it go. Don't let them rent space in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Misery loves company, and let them go and kick rocks somewhere else, not in your head.
Yep.
That's all right.
Yep.
And last but not least, so wait. Now, this is Yolanda's speak. Telling the other cheek is more about allowing people to take their own bumps and bruises. It's not about you taking telling the other cheek literally. That's why turning the mirror on them, right? In Dr. Yvonne speak. Make them face the mirror. That's the other cheek. What they need
Yep.
to see.
Let them be their worst nightmare. Hold it up to them. Yeah.
Look, thank you so much, everyone. Alvin, you're a star. I'm so grateful you came on our show.
And Sam, you're a star too. Both of you, God, I'm in love with both of you. Thank you so much for being so brave. Totally appreciate it.
So much. Connect to Dr. Yvonne as well.
Yes.
Connect with her and have those conversations. So I always say talking's free, work costs money. Yeah, that's what I just said. Thank you, Dr. Yvonne. Of course, you're the star of the show. You really are. So, people in the audience, I can't appreciate you anymore. I really, really appreciate your time always. Whether give me a minute, give me half an hour, and now give me 2 hours like you have today. I'm always going to thank you. Look, do
Have we
join
been
my
on
next
for 2
show.
hours?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We have to go.
I didn't even know it was that long. I swear.
I'm looking at it.
Because you caught me getting ready still. I'm still trying to wake up, you know?
Well, you're awake now, 1:56. No, and it's going on. Look, my next show, the topic is: do we do what we love, or do we love what we do to find satisfaction and success? What do you think? I tell you, philosophical. No, it sounds philosophical, but I think it's important in our lives. Anyway, let's talk about it. Come and share. Everyone's got an opinion, right? Come and share with us, please. I'll send you all the link. Of course, I will. David, I see you, my friend. Like I say, if you need to watch a replay, sir, let me know. I'll send you my YouTube link so you can subscribe while you're there. My YouTube friends, I do appreciate you as well because I've seen up to 6 on YouTube. So like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. My friends, I say hopefully I'll see you in my next room. So otherwise, I will thank you all for being amazing superstars, all of you. You're the stars of my shows, right? Look, you take care, my friends. Take care. Say bye, everyone.
See
Bye.
everybody next 2 weeks.
Yes, for sure.
Reach out. Let's share some time. Okay?
We will. We'll be here. We'll be here. Bye, everyone.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with the without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.